few YouTubers here. We've got Mike J. Hawker Vintage, Ross Loves Cards, Chris from Missouri, Chris's buddy Tom. There in the red shirt is Justin Go Crazy Cards.
Hey everybody, Rusty here with Rusty Vintage Cards. Just showed a little clip of the Boonville, Missouri card show. Who I didn't mention in that clip was Billy Ballgame, but he was in the first short clip that I showed, given the rock sign. So I just got back from Boonville this morning. Today is Sunday as I'm recording this. And I drove back this morning. The show was yesterday. I stayed the night in Boonville, got up early this morning and drove back home. And what an awesome show. What an awesome experience. It was actually kind of a small show, which I knew going into it, about 60 tables, I think. And there was some vintage scattered throughout. And actually the YouTubers who were there and friends had most of the vintage at that show. But I was able to hang out with some great guys. I was able to pick up a few cards. So that's great. You know, the main purpose of this trip was to hang out with some friends, and then if I was able to pick up any cards along the way, that's just added bonus. So by the way, as you can see, I'm in a new space, different from the last couple of videos that I've done, which were two different spaces. But as I mentioned in my previous video, we're in a rent house. This is actually a separate little garage apartment that is kind of connected to the property. So you can see a little kitchen behind me, you know, it's a cool little space. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the Boonville card show. So again, it was amazing hanging out with these guys. Went to the show, picked up a few cards, talked with those guys, and then we were able to go back to Chris from Missouri's house. He invited us. Went into his card room, really cool space. He has an amazing collection. We got to go through some of that and just talk cards and talk sports and talk life. Just a lot of fun. So Chris, appreciate you inviting us to your home. And also I have a funny little story to share about Chris. He may have tried to walk off with one of my cards. So I'll get into that unintentionally. But since I'm giving him maybe a little bit of a hard time on this video, I will also show some of his cards that he was selling at the show toward the end of the video. So if you see anything you like there, feel free to reach out to Chris. But awesome show, awesome time hanging out with these guys. And also at the end of this video, I will show a little bit of commentary on my drive home, talking about some of the conversations we had and talking about the experience and the card community and all that. So the cards. So I will get into that. First couple cards I have to share here were from Billy Ballgame. Got a sticker from him. I didn't purchase anything too big from Billy, but cool cards. This is a 1986 Rookies Sport Flicks Jose Canseco. I'll see if I can get it to, there we go. How cool is that? Rookies Sport Flicks of Jose Canseco. So happy to have that. And again, just picked up a couple of small cards from Billy. And then got a Billy Wagner rookie, and he was inducted this year. So I did not have a rookie of him. That is a cool looking card. Here's the back. And I didn't show the back of the Sport Flicks, so I'll do that. There is the Sport Flicks Jose Canseco back. All right, then I walked around, and you know, sometimes it shows you find something that you really weren't expecting to find and really wasn't on your list. You know, I've been working on a run of Reggie Jackson cards and looking at some of the different oddball sets. I picked up some Kellogg's cards during Strongsville, and I had kind of been looking at those, but really had no idea I was going to pick those up at Strongsville. So yesterday I ran across this. Try to avoid the glare there. This is a 1969 Topps Decals Reggie Jackson rookie. And it shows it's a PSA 6. Yeah, PSA 6 miscut. And these decals already come not centered. You know, you can see the text there. It says printed in UK, which I think is interesting. But the decals already aren't very centered. So I don't care that it's miscut at all. That really didn't bother me at all. So just a fun pickup, something that it's not actually a card, but something that I was not planning on picking up, but just the cool things that you keep your eyes out for at a show that might pique your interest. There's not much to see on the back on these. It's blank, and as you can see, it's pretty thin. You can kind of see through it. So that's the only 1969 Topps decal I have. So happy to add that to my Reggie run. All right, from Chris from Missouri, picked up this little, I'll call it iconic, Burt Bly 11 blowing the bubble. It's a card that I've wanted for a while, and he had one that I really liked. Pretty sharp card. There's the back. Then the bigger card that I got from Chris, I'm excited about this one. 1941 double play, Joe Cronin and Jimmy Foxx. I had been, I wouldn't say actively searching for Joe Cronin cards, but I had a few on my list that if I saw one, I might pick it up, and this was one of them. And partially for the fact that it has Jimmy Foxx on it. So this is my second Jimmy Foxx. The other one I just picked up within the last couple of months, which I've shown before. That is this 1940 play ball. So there are the two side by side. So you have one that is a full body shot with him holding the bat. And again, I'll mention this again. This has a Superman gum and cards ad at the bottom, which is super cool. Using the word super there, it's unintentionally, but it does fit. And there is the other photo. You get more of a close-up shot. That other shot, I believe, was taken a little earlier in his career. I'm not sure exactly when, but you can tell he's a little later in his career here toward the end. But just excited to have this card, get a second Jimmy Foxx, and I get a Joe Cronin. Two Hall of Famers. There's the back. Lots of glare there, sorry about that. But not much to see there. It's a clean back. It is blank, as all of those 1941 double plays are. Then I have a little story to tell on this card. This is the one mentioning Chris from Missouri. So Chris's buddy Tom was there, and I looked through his cards and saw one that really caught my eye. I had been looking at the Lou Brock rookies for quite a while, occasionally looking at those on Facebook, and I would add them to my my search list, my watch list, I should say. And I would have it on there, and then I would remove it and focus on some other cards, then add it back and remove it. But all the while, I have wanted to add this to my collection. So here it is. So that is my 1962 Topps Lou Brock rookie card, and it is a beauty, I think. An SGC4, nice looking card, decent centering on it. Here's the back, pretty clean back. Awesome, awesome card. So I buy that card from Chris's buddy Tom, And this was right at the end of the show. Tom was packing up, and I had mentioned that that was one card I was looking at. Tom was not going to be going over to Chris's house afterward, so because they had, I believe, stayed the night with Chris the night before. So they're packing up, and Chris is packing up. He has his stuff kind of stacked up on the table, and I buy this card from Tom. I didn't want to put it in my pocket, so I had, my pockets were full of keys and my phone and all kinds of stuff. So I set the card down on Chris's table, and Chris mentioned something about that Lou Brock rookie. So we're all talking, and a few minutes later, I notice Chris casually, as he's talking, casually places the card onto his stack of stuff, of his cards and display cases and all that. I'm thinking, okay, what's Chris doing here? So then he takes it from the stack and he puts it into his pocket. And I'm standing right there, so I comment, kind of giving him a hard time, and I said, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. And I thought he was just going to give me a hard time and mess with me a little bit, just all in good fun. I wasn't worried about it. I knew I'd get the card back, but I'm thinking, Chris just put my card in his pocket, so it was just funny. So I'm helping Chris stack up some display cases, and he's not saying anything about it. By the way, when I mentioned I see what you're doing, Chris acted like he didn't hear me. So I'm helping Chris stack up his displays, and he's not saying anything about it. And he's wheeling out his full display or a cart of stuff that he was going to take outside. And I mentioned to him, do I need to come out there and help you unload to get the card back? Is that the fee? And he stops for a minute and looks down and goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So it was completely an accident, but it was just funny because for about 10 minutes I thought, Chris is messing with me. He just took my card and he's going to walk out with it. So it was all in good fun, for me the whole time, but it was completely unintentional for him. He had purchased a 1962 Billy Williams at that show, and so he thought that was his card. As he was talking, he thought that was his card, and he stuck it in his pocket. So we had a good laugh about it, and when I went over to his house, we laughed about it a little bit more. So just a good time. All right, I am on my way back from the Boonville card show. The card show was yesterday. Today is Sunday. I stayed the night in Boonville, and now I'm traveling back to Tulsa on Sunday morning, and that is about a 5-hour drive. So driving through the Missouri countryside right now, and was thinking about something that we talked about yesterday. And first, I just want to thank the guys I was able to connect with. Chris from Missouri, Billy Ball Game, Mike J. Hawker Vintage, had Justin Go Crazy Card Collecting, and had Ross Loves Cards. All great dudes,
glad I was able to connect with them this weekend, and just a great time at this show. It's not a big show. It does have some vintage there. This is the first time for the show, but did have some vintage, and I was able to pick up a few cards. Happy about that. And most importantly, I was able to connect with some people from the community. So something we talked about yesterday that I thought I would share is we were talking about why we started our YouTube channels. And for me, I'll give you a little bit of background, just a little personal information about me. What I do for a living is marketing. So when I started this YouTube channel, especially after a few videos in, I was really thinking, you know, what is the purpose? What is the main purpose of this channel? And ultimately I decided that is to connect with people, to connect with some like-minded people, and, you know, maybe make some friends in the hobby. When I was a kid in collecting, I had friends who collected. We traded cards and just enjoyed the hobby together, talked about baseball cards, talked about baseball. And whenever I got back into collecting, I didn't have that as an adult. So that was one of my goals, and really the main goal with starting my YouTube channel. And I kind of had to rewire my brain a little bit from some of the things that I heavily focus on in marketing in my job, which would be get as many views as you can, get as many subscribers as you can, you know, all the analytics. And to a certain extent, that is still relevant with any YouTube channel that you would create. But whenever I was trying to focus on just really connecting with people, you know, it's about the human connection, about interacting with people, and you know, eventually talking with people in person, having phone conversations, text messages, you know, joking back and forth about things. And this weekend just really backs that up. That's the main purpose, and I'm completely happy with that. We just really had a great time. I want to thank Chris for letting us hang out in his card room, and thank all the other guys for just all the support, the conversations, and you know, the things that we can learn off one another in this community. You know, I learned so much from these guys, and even in conversations yesterday, one of the other things we talked about was card displays. That's something that I can take back to my collection. It's something I'll be thinking about whenever I'm setting up my little hobby room in our house that we're building. So appreciate you guys. Had a great time, and I look forward to the next one.